بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Assalamu alaikum. Today it is Monday, the 3rd of August 2021, and in our series Reflections on the Holy Quran, this is broadcast number 240. And these days we are looking at chapter 2, verse 90. And this is the second broadcast in discussing Al-Baqarah, verse 90. Just to remind you that the Lahore Ahmadiyya community, or Lahore Ahmadiyya Anjuman Lahore, was founded by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. And he taught us that although generally people say that after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, at least one more prophet will come, this is incorrect, because the Holy Quran calls the Holy Prophet Khatamun Nabiyyin, seal of the prophets. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad explained this verse by saying, La Nabi Abadi, there is no prophet after me. So that means no prophet, not an old one, not a new one. And the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam then went on to explain what will happen if Muslims go astray. How will they be guided back to the right path? And he said that God will send Mujaddideen, who will bring Muslims back to the right path. And Mirza Ghulam Ahmad further explained that although people talk about two great personalities, Jesus, the son of Mary, and Mahdi coming, but the Holy Prophet explained that it is one and the same person, and two titles or different names have been used for him to denote his two different duties. And it's one and the same person, and he said, I am the Mujaddid for whom these titles were used. Now, of course, there is a difference of opinion amongst the Muslims about this. And the Holy Prophet said that the differences of opinion in my ummah are a blessing. But it also means that we shouldn't become extremists. and start calling each other heretics and kafirs and so on because we disagree with each other. The fundamental is, the Holy Prophet said, the kalima, and he explained that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are not a Muslim, then it is the person saying that who's closer to heresy. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad also explained that although people say that Ayah Rajab and Surah Walai, which were a part of prophetic revelation, are missing from the Holy Quran. This is incorrect. All prophetic revelation is a part of the Holy Quran. There's nothing missing. Again, generally it is believed that some verses of the Holy Quran have been abrogated. And Hazrat Shah Waliullah, Rahmatullah Alayh, he said that people say more than 500 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. But I have carried out research, and that leads me to believe that only 7 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. That Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said, no verse of the Holy Quran is abrogated. And he stressed that jihad is a fundamental duty of every Muslim. But jihad as defined by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, not by someone else. And the Holy Prophet, when returning from fighting, said, from the minor jihad, we now return to the major jihad. And then explained that the major jihad is a struggle with your own soul to control and eliminate your negative feelings and desires. That is the real jihad. That we walk along the footsteps of the Holy Prophet Muhammad and we become a beacon of light and hope for the rest of humanity. Let us now turn to the verse of the Holy Quran that we're going to discuss today. It's Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 90. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا بما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله من فضله على من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين. Evil is that for which they sell their souls, that they should deny that which Allah has revealed out of envy that Allah should send down of His grace on whomsoever of His servants He pleases, so they incur wrath upon wrath. And there is an abasing chastisement for the disbelievers. So the last word we discussed on Thursday was mashtaro. Bihi is a connecting word, then anfusahum, so we will discuss that. And then we have ain, which is a connecting word. Kafaru, well, we discussed that last week, so I won't go into that in detail today. Bima, again, a connecting word, and then anzalallah. So the next word is anzala, that we will discuss today. So let us have a look and see. Anfusahum, and it is in two segments. Anfusa is one segment, and hum. So these are the two segments, and its root is Noon Fa Sin, and it appears in the Holy Quran 298 times in 4 different forms or with 4 different meanings. And we have 295 times it's nafs, the noun nafs. And the other 3 occurrences, it's once each. Nafasa, yatanafasi, and mutanafisun. So the nafasa is to breathe, the nafas. This is a common word in Urdu for breathing as well. And then we have fal yatanafasi. That means aspire. Have this thing in your heart that you aspire to do something, to be something. And then we have anfusahum. For example, chapter 2, verse 8, which means them, themselves. And in chapter 2, verse 44, we have anfusakum. Can you see the 2 segments that I mentioned at the beginning? Anfusahum, anfusa one segment, hum the other segment, anfusakum, anfusa one segment, and kum the other segment. So the meaning changes from themselves to yourselves. Then we have chapter 2, verse 48, nafsun, any soul. And we have chapter 2, verse 90, again, anfusahum. And in chapter 2, verse 130, you have nafsahu, himself, etc. And an-nafsu means the soul, which is within our body, and we say that when we die, the soul leaves the body. For example, in chapter 61, verse 93, the Holy Quran says, Akhriju anfusakum. That take their souls, take their lives. And In another place, chapter 5, verse 116, the Holy Quran says, Ta'lamu ma fi nafsi wala ghadamu ma fi nafsika. What is in my nafs, what is in my heart. So here the word nafs is being used in the sense of the heart. What is in my heart, you know, but what is in your heart, what is in your mind, I know not. So although the word nafs is used, God doesn't have a heart, God doesn't have a brain in the sense that we do. So you'll probably translate that as just as what is in my mind, you know, but what you know, I don't. وَيُحَذِّرُكُمُ nafsahu, chapter 3, verse 30. And God, Allah warns you of His ghadab, His anger. And again, chapter 51, verse 21. Sabiqu ila maghfiratim mir rabbikum. Chapter 51, chapter 57, verse 21. Rush to your Lord's, to Rabb's forgiveness. An-nafs means the breath, the air you take in and air you exhale. And it is regarded as the food for the soul. Why? Because obviously if you stop breathing, you die, and it is said that, your soul has left your body. And nafsun also means sort of plenty, having plenty. And then it also means the nafa sannaharu means that the day has broken. Now it's midday. And this is mentioned in chapter 81, verse 18. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسَ, and when the day broke. So, and this is the thing, you see, that Arabic words, the same word has many different meanings. Nafs also means the ability to distinguish, to be able to distinguish between the right and wrong. It means rationality, means education. Because if you're going to be able to distinguish between right and wrong, you need a rational brain and you need knowledge. It also means status. That, the minister, in the sense of, Fil Maliku bi Nafsi. The king personally came to me. So you're trying to impress upon others your importance, that you're so important. There's also the word nifasan that comes from this, which refers to the blood that is passed by the female after she has given birth. Tanaffus is a common word in Urdu which means breath. So next word is anzala, and that occurs 293 times 12 different meanings. And its root is Nun Zaylam, and 183 times it occurs as Anzala. Then 62 times as Nazala. And then 15 times as Tanzil. And Tanzil, I should say. And then less than that, 8 times as Nuzul, and 7 times as the Nazalat, and 6 times as Nazala, and 5 times as Munzilin, and then twice as Munzil, once as Munazzal, once as Munazzil. The last one was Munazzal, and then Munazzil. Etc. Twice as Manazil, etc. I think that's about all. So, generally people say, well, it means that from a high plane, a high place, you move to a lower plane or a lower place. For example, you get off a horse or a camel or a car, and you would say, basically you use the word nazala to mean you got off. But it's also used for staying somewhere. The Holy Quran says in chapter 23, verse 29, Anzilni munzalam mubarakam wa anta khairul munazzilin. And descend us, literally meaning our nazul should be at a blessed place, and you are the one who does this best. So here it doesn't mean that you are going to fly down from heavens, but wherever you are going. So nazala ikaza wa anzalahu. So in that, they mean same thing when talking about punishment or granting something, or something happening. It means something is granted. So, for example, blessings, rewards. Alhamdulillahillazi anzala ala abdihil kitab. Chapter 18, verse 1. All praise due to Allah, who anzala on his servant this book. Now we know that the Quran, in the form of the book that we have, like this thing that I have, it doesn't descend from heavens. So you'll translate that is who revealed. Or in another place, Allahul Lazi anzala al-kitaba bil-haq. Chapter 42, verse 17. God is the one who revealed the book with the truth. Again, although we're talking about nuzul, it doesn't mean that a book actually came down. floating down from heavens. Another example, a better one perhaps, is chapter 51, verse 25, which says, وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدَ, and iron. He made iron descend from heavens. Now, you go out into the street, you won't have steel girders or even iron girders floating down from heavens. And that is that he created. وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانَ, chapter 57, verse 25. And he revealed the books. He sent the books. Although literally it says anzalna, books came down. It doesn't mean ready printed books came down. It means that God sent the guidance. And wal mizan. What is mizan? Mizan is that balance, the weighing machine, literally. So that doesn't come down from heavens, the machine with which your grocer weighs the meat he gives you, or onions, or whatever it is. It means God revealed the rules and regulations. What rules and regulations? Lots of people say, well, rules and regulations which allow you to dispense justice. But I say it means rules and regulations which allow you to live in moderation, a moderate life. Because this is what a mizan does, it balances two sides, so that one is not lower than the other. وَأَنزَلَ لَكُم مِّنَ الْأَنْعَامِ ثَمَانِيَّةَ أَزْوَاجٍ, chapter 39, verse 6. Now here we are talking about وَأَنزَلَ, nuzul, descension, coming down of animals. But animals don't come down from heavens. Means he created. But then when it says Anzala minas sama'i ma tahura, chapter 25, verse 28, that clear, pure water came down from heavens. Well, you can say that literally water does come down from heavens. أَن يُنَزِّلَ اللَّهُ مِن فَضْلِهِ عَلَى مَن يَشَاءُ, chapter 2, verse 9. God's blessings descend upon whoever he wants. يُنَزِّلَ Allah, God's blessings descend. But that means he grants something. It doesn't mean that things sort of fly down from heavens. Nazala bihi ruhul amin, chapter 26, verse 193. That the ruhul amin descended with it, nazala, that he brought it. Again, inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakati, chapter 24, verse 2. We revealed it in a blessed night. But it doesn't mean to say that the whole of the Holy Quran came down from heavens on that night. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, chapter 97, verse 1. Inna anzalna, we revealed it on the night of Qadr, Shab-e Qadr, as it's called. It doesn't mean to say that the whole of the Holy Quran came. The point I'm making is that you have to use, because Arabic is such a wide language, you have to use your common sense to see what the situation is before you decide how to apply a word. An-nuzulu, that is the food. That is, offered to a guest. Falahum jannatul ma'wa nuzula. Chapter 32, verse 19. Doesn't mean to say that, something descending from heavens. This is what they'll get in the Jannah, in the gardens. And so, as I said, it's the opposite of uruj. Uruj means to rise, and nuzul can mean come down. And so, as I said, it applies to food with which you greet a guest. It means blessings. It means it's used for very fertile land because it bears a lot of harvest. Nazil is used for a guest. Manzil means your destination, where you're going to get off, where you're going to stay. It's common in Pakistan, for example, to say, Aapki manzil kya? Where are you going? Kya aapki manzil aa gayi hai? Has your station come? Has the place where you want to get off the train or the bus come? Now, as I explained, that anzalna does not necessarily mean coming down from heaven. As I explained, that God says, anzalna al-hadid, and iron comes down. We make iron come down. But it means that God created iron and gave it to humans, etc. So, what we have from the use of the word tanzeel, that shows that wahi, revelation, God's guidance, was an external phenomenon. And it wasn't, see, some people think that wahi or revelation is not external, it's just internal. The Prophet just gets an idea. But no, by using this word, what the Holy Quran is saying is that, it's an external phenomenon. And you cannot receive revelation by getting a PhD or by your own effort in education and knowledge and so on. This is something that God grants. And he chooses who he should grant it. And that is all. But now, Prophet's revelation is ended, but God still inspires people by putting ideas in their head externally. That hasn't ended. And that needs to be remembered. But now there cannot be a Prophet's revelation. Meaning, if Mr. A or Zad or Bakr or John or Peter, they say, I've received a revelation, okay, but good for you. I'm not bound by it. And that is the difference between a prophet's revelation and an ordinary person receiving some sort of inspiration or ilham or even wahi. That others are not bound by it. But we are bound to follow the prophet's revelation. I think I've gone over my time, so I'll end here. So I take my leave of you until tomorrow, when I hope that we'll meet again, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.